Okay, so you ask yourself, what is economy, how it affects your life, and should you even care about it? So the short answer is it affects all aspects of your life, from grocery prices to your ability to invest to ability of your employer to pay you. Key things to know and understand first is inflation. Inflation means that money loses value over time. Higher the inflation, lower living standards. High inflation pushes central bank to change interest rates. Inflation should be counted to calculate your investment profits. Next up is interest rates. Interest rates grow to slow down inflation. Higher interest rates means less affordable loans and mortgages, better returns on deposits. Growing interest rates means economy slows down, which means that markets are falling. And the opposites, falling interest rates usually means growing markets. Number 3, know where your employer stands. Depending on inflation and interest rates, your job security and salary may be at risk. And number 4, government policies matter. Elections, tax laws, government debt all affects your day-to-day life. So now let's just take a step back and try to unfold everything. Let's begin with setting up who you are. You are most likely the same as I am, regular person with a job, maybe with some savings, maybe you're even getting some payments from your rent. All this means that you are this regular person within the economy. Why should you care about how economy works and what all these jargon and terms actually mean? In modern days, every aspect of your life somehow related to your living standards and where you are in a wider economic system. You need to buy things, you go to work, you do some investments, all this connected to a bigger system. So why should you care? Because if you don't and you miss some of the important changes, you might miss great opportunities and you may put yourself at higher risk. There are 3 levels of economic system that we will try to unfold today. Those 3 levels are basic level of what is basic economic model. Second one is what are the key processes in the system. And third one is what are those decisions you may want to make while you have this understanding of the system in general. So let's start with level 1, which is baseline economy system. As we said in the beginning, you are a regular person and you are part of the bigger economy system. So in economics terms, it means that you are representing households. So households basically is regular person, we consume some goods and services and pay taxes to governments. Next, we have 2 markets. First one is goods and services. This is where we, as households, usually go to buy stuff. This is where we get stuff from. And then another market is market of resources. This is where we are as households usually provide our resources, our time. So this is how we spend our time in our work, for example. We are getting paid from this resources market, right? So this is where we get our money and this is where we spend our money on the market of goods and services. But someone should be creating those goods and services and consuming our resources, right? Usually this is done by businesses. Businesses, they consume our resources and they provide us with money and they provide us with goods and services, so they take money from there. And from overall, this looks like a complete system, but there is also one more player, and this is one of the key players. This is the government, right? Government sits here in the middle, and what government does, so creates policies to control our ability to spend money and provide resources, and abilities of businesses to generate those goods and consume our resources. So basically, government is in control of those 2 markets. This is the baseline economic system. So let's go to level 2. Level 2 is base processes within the economy. What are the key processes that you should care about? In general, it's inflation and deflation and interest rates. So let's try to unfold both of them. So let's start with inflation. Inflation means purchasing power of money. So it means how much stuff you can buy for the same amount of money. In general, we should think about it as a closed system where there is specific amount of goods and balanced amount of money to cover value of these goods. But in reality, businesses create new goods and we need to have more money to cover value of these goods. If we have more money than goods, it means that we have inflation. You can think about this as supply and demand. So lower goods supply means higher prices, and it's inflation. And if we have high supply, it means we have lower prices, and this means deflation. Where money actually created? This is a bigger question, because if we have always growing amount of goods, then it means that we have growing amount of money. So who creates money? And money created by central bank. Central bank, they control emission of money. It means that if we have more money than goods, they take money out of the system, so they decrease money volume. And if we have less money than goods, it means that they print more money. If they print money, where this money actually go? Who takes the money? Of course, they are not interacting directly with us, with households. They usually interact directly with commercial banks. Central bank give loans to commercial banks and control interest rates. General rule of thumb is higher the inflation, higher interest rates. Let's try to unfold how it actually affects the economical system. For each government, there usually a target interest rate. So usually they put target on inflation, which directly correlates with target of interest rate. And let's say the target interest rate is 2%. What it actually means? It means that for banks, they accept deposits and they give loans. With interest rate at 2%, usually deposits will be around 3% and loans around 5%. But then let's imagine that inflation actually goes up, which means that prices are going up. It means that economy grows faster than it was expected. So central bank wants to slow down the economy, so they bring up interest rates. And let's say they bring up interest rates to 5%. What it means now is that deposits now will become higher. So let's say 6 to 7%. And loans will be even higher, 7 to 8%. And then what will happen if inflation goes down, let's say to 3%? It means that deposits will now be 4 to 5%, loans will be 5 to 6%. You see, and depending on this situation, it will be more interesting in this case, like in this case or in this case. It's much more interesting for businesses to take loans than this. It means if inflation is growing and interest rate is growing, businesses take less loans, so they produce less goods and services, and it means that if we have less goods and services, it means that we need less money. It means that inflation actually goes down. Let's go to level 3. What are those decisions that in general affect your financial life? Basically, it's 3 main categories. First one is prices. Prices might be everything that you basically pay from your account, right? So it's groceries, it's loans, it's rent, it's everything else. Second one is your job. And third one is your investments. So how those 3 categories actually depend on interest rates and on inflation. If interest rates go up, it means that prices for goods and services going up, because it usually means that inflation is actually up. And this is why interest rates are going up. Next one is mortgages and loans. They also go up, right? So they go up because if interest rate is higher, it means that the bank that gave you mortgage now borrows money at higher rates, and it means that your mortgage will become more expensive. And all this means that living standards are going down. What it means for your job? For your job, it means that business that you work for is at risk. What you need to do? First, ask for a raise, as prices are going up, so you need to stay on top of it and be able to pay for your life. And of course, you need to have backup plans. Because if business is at risk, it means that you might lose your job, so you have to know what you would do in this situation. And the third category is investments. So what happens with investments when interest rates are going up? Usually when interest rates are going up, it means that stock market go down. Also, it means that the deposits in the banks are actually going up and bonds also going up. What it means if interest rates go down? It means that for prices, mortgages and loans go down. It means that prices are not growing as fast as they were growing before. And it means that living standards are actually growing now, just because it's easier for you to access money and to use it more efficiently. What will happen to your job? To your job, it means that the business is actually growing. It means that there are more opportunities to try new things for you. And from your investments, it means that markets are going up, deposits going down, bonds going down. So as you can see, economy is a complex system that affects your day-to-day life, and it's really, really important to understand what's happening because it affects your job, investments, and prices, and in general, all this means your living standards. So stay tuned for more videos about the economy, personal finance, business, product development, and etc.